Hi, and welcome to another episode of Can't Stop the Growth. I'm your host, Chad Peterman, and today we are going to be talking about trust and empowerment. Now, here at Peterman Heating, Cooling, and Plumbing, we are going into customer homes each and every day, 365 days a year. And the biggest thing with home services is developing that relationship with a customer to where we can empower them through education. We want to make sure that our customers are the most knowledgeable about their heating and their plumbing systems. We do this by developing a relationship and then also educating them. So, obviously, our business specific to heating and plumbing. However, trust and empowerment when it comes to a customer relationship and then when it comes to your people internally can be really applicable to any type of business. So with that, we'll jump into this audio from a Future Leaders Series meeting here at our company, Peterman Heating, Cooling, and Plumbing. And I hope you get something out of it. And hopefully you can use this to make sure that your customers trust you even more and you're able to empower them. You know, one big thing for me in leadership that we're always trying to do and always talking to customers about is, trust. That seems to be a word that's always kind of thrown out there that, it's not what we do, does the customer trust us? And I think it's easy to kind of lose the meaning of what trust actually is. To me, trust is more of a feeling. So it's very hard to, we want the customer to trust us. Well, what does that exactly mean? We want them to trust us. Is that something we're going to say? Is that something that we're going to do? To me, it is really empowering the customer. And I think anybody who, has ever been out with a customer and they've bought something from you, you kind of feel that they're going to buy something from you. Everyone said, oh yeah, yep, they're going to. Well, there's that feeling because I think that people have been empowered. And whether that is a customer or whether that is someone who works here, empowerment to me is a big key to leadership because people are more apt to follow if you empower them as opposed to dictate to them what they're going to do and how they're going to do it and they've done something wrong and this is the right way and this, that, and the other. Whereas empowering them to be great is going to lead to them hopefully becoming great. Now, there are different variations of that. I mean, yeah, some people are going to need more structure, more systems. Everybody learns a little bit differently. Some people may need to learn something differently, whatever it is. But giving people the access to be great, to me, is critical. And I feel like I'm a better leader when I can give people opportunity and say, hey, here's where I think we went wrong, but I don't care how we get it done. Let's just go do it. And I think that has been key to our growth too, is that always keeping that empowerment piece there close to when we're thinking about leadership and we're thinking about growing a company, is the fact that we won't grow if we don't continue to empower people. If we don't make people better, if we don't give them the resources that they need, the company will stop growing. And at that point in time, you're going to be not looked at as a great leader. And I think you can take that down a step too. So if let's say you manage a department around here, well, the key to you being a great manager is to empower all the people that are reporting to you to be great. When they're great, guess what? You're going to be a great manager. And there again, like I said, it is different for everybody. And we talked a little bit about this, I think, last time, as far as everybody learns a little bit differently. So that's where the viewpoint of empowerment as opposed to being a dictator is a lot better served. If I'm just a dictator, well, I'm just dictating to you what you need to do. Well, if everybody learns a little bit differently, the likelihood that your message gets heard and gets understood and gets corrected is slim and none. You may get a couple of people who are used to learning that way or used to acting that way, but for the most part, you're not going to get much going on. But when you empower somebody through a process, knowing that, you know what, this person struggles when they need detailed notes. Well, those giving them a process that they can work within, you ultimately empower them to be good. That's where you want them to be. Well, you as the manager are in charge of empowering them and creating that system where they can be great. And sometimes that system's a little bit different. You know, I've always looked at it from my perspective, like I said, of growing people and growing a company. If I can get everybody to feel empowered, if I can get everybody to figure out things and to take on things themselves, we're going to grow regardless. And that's where I get back to what I've said in the past is right now I can't, we're growing so quickly, but it's not me doing the growing. I'm a piece in the puzzle, but the biggest thing is it's everybody here that feels empowered to go do it. I can literally, there is nothing that makes me happier than talking to somebody and they're saying, oh yeah, we already fixed that. This is how we do it. Here's the process for it. If you'd like to, alrighty, cool. Well, in my mind, I've empowered that person to go make that process and go do it. Now there again, it takes a skilled person, and that's what we try to attract is really great people because they can do more of those and they can do it quicker and they can do it better and all of that stuff. But it starts from there again, our outlook on things as far as letting people be great and providing them the resources they need to be great. And I think when we do that and we put the systems in place, then we ultimately create a culture to where people are just running. Like they're running to get better, they're running to do more, they're doing everything they can to continually improve. One, because they're in an environment that facilitates that, and two, because that's how they're wired. And I think when you create that environment, people are attracted to that. They're attracted to environments like that. They're attracted to doing more, getting better. I mean, think about it. The last time, you figured something out. You kind of get that sense of, oh yeah, satisfaction, or, hey, we completed that process, or we hit that goal, or we, did something that we didn't think was possible. It's addicting. Accomplishing things and growing and feeling empowered that you're getting better than you were yesterday, that's addicting. And it's addicting for the people that want to continue to get better. Those that don't, those that want to kind of just stay status quo, well, they'll never, it's not addicting to them. They're just like, oh, well, probably more headaches, this, that, and the other. Like, they don't want that. And that's where I've always been is a lot of people, always ask is when you talk about kind of how we've grown and different stuff like that, oh, you must, that must be just, you must want to pull your hair out every day. I'm like, no, not really. I really enjoy coming to work and seeing everybody and stuff like that. But to me, I'm like, I always tell people this. I mean, we've got 96 people or something like that here. So people ask me and I say, I'm less stressed with 96 than I was with 22. I was employee, I think, number 22 when I started. I'm less stressed today than I was then. But it's simply because we've found so many great people and empowered them to go do great things. And when you empower great people, there's really no the only stress that I have is, am I providing enough for them to keep going? Because I don't want to stunt anybody's growth. I'll run just as fast as anybody, but I've got to, sometimes it takes a little bit to build that infrastructure or build out this process. And I think that's where, when I think back, like yesterday was like a day of, like we had like a lot of like frustrating situations. Like, how are we going to solve this? Or this process is broken or stuff like that. It's like, well, probably is. It probably is going to be broken because we're moving so fast. Like, yeah, I expect on a daily basis to find at least 3 or 4 things in a process that are broken. Okay, well, how are we going to fix them? Well, there again, that goes back to expectation. If you expect stuff to break, that's fine. That's a good thing. That means that we're running at a speed that is just so quick that by the time we turn around and say that's broken, well, it should be broken because it worked for what we had then, but we're in a different place now, and it's probably not going to work for that. And that is the bulk of my stress on a daily basis is, can I build it fast enough? Can I keep up with all these great people that we have? Because the more of them we add, the more work we got to do, the more stuff we got to build out, the more trucks we got to buy, the more trucks we need to outfit. I mean, that is literally the thing that I think Tyler and I get the most frustrated about. Like, Jesus, another truck that we have to put stuff on? And it's like, well, yeah, another truck that we have to put stuff on. There's worse problems to have. Like, oh, we have a bunch of empty trucks sitting there with a bunch of stuff on them. No, it's I've got to get this guy his truck, because he wants to work here and he's really good, and we've got to find a spot for him because that would be awesome. So how do we get that in here as quickly as possible? And it's just, it's so fun. And I think the thing that I encourage you to do is whatever position you're in, can you empower somebody? You know, if you're a lead installer, can you empower your helper? If you're in the office and you've been here, or you know how to do something better than somebody else, can you empower somebody else to be good? And I think what you'll find is what I always talk about. When you empower others, you will ultimately get more. Think about it. If you're in the CSR department and you empower another CSR to, hey, this is how I do this process, or this is what I get, and you ultimately want more responsibility or want to move up, well, the only way you're going to move up is if we have more people. Well, we have more people because we book more calls. Well, if you empower so-and-so to do a great job, well, we're probably going to book more calls and thus have to add more people, and thus you'll be able to move up. And there again, sometimes it's hard to see, but if you can see through that as you're building, as you're empowering people, the more people we empower and the more discussions we can have in this setting where we're all getting better and we're all moving forward, trust me, we'll be there. You know, and that is our goal, is to provide, as I've said before, provide the best place to work. And when I say that, it's like, okay, well, you know, that'd be fun, but literally, in my mind, the best place to work is a place where literally you feel like there are no bounds on you whatsoever. It's how good can I get and where can I go? And I know I can do it at that place. To me, that's what kind of that best place to work looks like, is there's no limit on what I can do. Now, the key is everybody understanding that if you want to get there faster, empower everybody else. I know that sounds backwards, but if you empower everybody else to do a great job and you want no bounds on yourself, where you put bounds on yourself is when you don't empower others. When you just say, well, you know, by God, I would never want to empower them. They may take the job that I want, or I wouldn't want to, you know, whatever the case may be. When you empower others, this place will grow. It's growing right now because everybody's empowering everybody. Which is a really cool thing to see. I love it. It's addicting to see that growth. You know, it is just so cool, and it's so cool to see people when they accomplish things, when they get things done, or I couldn't do that before, but now I'm doing this, or oh my God, yeah, I need to do this. That would make me a better person, and I think that's where this vision to kind of tie it all together, that's why we started writing it, is because we saw this, but it's how are you going to get there? Well, our biggest thing of empowerment was show people where in the hell we're going. You know, I mean, how are you supposed to be empowered if you don't know where we're going? If the ultimate dream of the company is to stay right where we are, we don't want to grow anymore, we're just going to be here. Well, then some of you may say, well, this is not the place for me. I'd like to go somewhere else because I don't want to be doing this thing that I'm doing. I want more, or I want to do better, or whatever it is. And And so that was really the purpose of the vision and us writing it, was to paint that picture. And really, as I ask you guys here at the end of what will make this place better, I hope you see that as empowering you to build whatever we want here. I think you guys know us. If you guys want something or think something may be better, or, hey, well, I wish we could do it this way, we're game. What do we got? Let's do it. If it all makes sense. And there's a lot of things that may not make a ton of sense, but hell, let's give it a shot. The worst we can do is say that didn't work and we'll start all over. It's not that big of a deal. So there again, I want this place to be something we all build together, because ultimately, if we build it together and we build it to whatever everybody wants, there'll be a place for everybody. I hate losing people unless they're not the right fit, and we've had that before. But the great thing is we've got a lot of people in the right fit, and a lot of people who are so excited about going other places within the company or here, there, or everywhere. That's the cool part. And when you think about it, so I was Tyler and my dad and myself went down to Charlotte, North Carolina a couple weeks back, or last week, I guess it was, time's flying, to look at a building down there of a company, and to get some ideas for this new one and different stuff like that. And, the part when we left, and they have almost 400 people there. I mean, this is a operation like you've never seen before. I mean, they make us look kind of piddly. It kind of made me mad. But they are freaking moving. I mean, it is just something to behold. But there again, it was one of those things where, I came out of there and we're riding in the car back to the airport, and I said, you know what? The funny thing is that when back in 2015, when we joined Nexstar, one of the big reasons we joined was we went over to a company in Ohio, over in Cincinnati, who was right about. Well, I'll get to that point, but they ran Nexstar. They had the operation. I mean, they were running, and we were just like, whoa, how do you do that? And then we joined, and we're sitting here in 2018, and we're actually a larger operation than that company was just 3 years ago. So there again, when you write it down and you can kind of see it, and then you find the right people, and you find the secret to success, which I feel is empowering people, amazing things can happen. And so I have no doubt that, as we left there, I could see it. I could see that we will be there one day. And the cool thing is you think about 300 and some odd people, that's a lot of people, but that's a lot of people that if we can replicate the people that we have now, well, shoot, bring them on. How do we get there? That'd be a lot of fun. I'm sure someone could push my performance at that. I'm sure someone could push everybody's performance at that point in time when you bring in that many good people. So there again, we will try to create literally the greatest place on earth. It's like Disneyland around here. That's what I want it to be like. There again, we're going to get our stuff done, but if there's improvements that we can make, by God, let's make them. It really it boils down to there's a choice to be made. We can make the choice to get better, or we can make the choice to just kind of, we'll just stay here. This seems good. So there again, I encourage you each and every day to empower somebody. It is truly, and it's not something that I've always known about either. It took time, and I would say probably the greatest teacher for me was just being around great people. And I think that is critical too, and really understand what kind of people you're around on a daily basis. We were having a short meeting before this, and that was kind of the at the close of the meeting was, we have some really awesome people here that are just, I've never been pushed like this before, to just always keep getting better. or else if I stop, then and this company's growing, I'm going to get passed. So I love a place like that where there's that little bit of urgency to always getting better and always continuing to grow.